think it was the rain that faked me out. The wet ground kept me from noticing the cooling system was leaking until the day I started the car, and this indicator light didn't go out with the other ones. A quick check around the engine compartment showed that the metal fill neck had become separated from the body of the plastic expansion tank. The system was not holding pressure, and while I was driving it, it wasn't holding water either. I ordered a new expansion tank and pressure cap that was listed as all R129 Mercedes-Benz and found it had some different features from my original tank. One nice feature is the metal reinforcing ring inside each hose attachment point. This keeps the plastic tube from cracking or collapsing when the hose clamp is finally tightened down. There was a small tube on the bottom that is not used by my 300SL, and I ended up just blocking it off. This closed port holds the inductive sensor for the coolant level indicator. It works in tandem with a float incorporated inside the tank. There are a couple of smaller overflow ports on the top of the tank as well. The new pressure cap is also very different from the original. Instead of a click-to-clamp metal one, this has a red O-ring seal and is a toughened plastic thread-on type of cap. To get at the tank mounting lugs on the wheel well, I first had to loosen the plastic cover that houses the relays by removing 2 Phillips head screws. On the side of the cover facing the engine, there is also a 10mm plastic nut threaded onto a stud just behind the tank. I knew that everything from here on out was going to be pretty grimy, so I put on some gloves before I lifted the whole cover out of the way and set it aside. I now had clear access to the 2 top-mounted 10mm nuts that hold the tank to the inner wheel well. They came off pretty easily with a ratchet and a deep socket. Next, I took off the small overflow line that runs from along the top of the radiator. This clamp has a lot of corrosion, and I'm going to replace it with a new one later. Now this hose has been on for so long that it's actually going to need a little coaxing with the screwdriver in order to get it off. And yet the fill neck overflow hose simply slips right off its metal tube. Low down and towards the front is the electrical connector plug for the level sensor, which I pulled off next. The largest hose on the expansion tank is the one that goes to the lower radiator. Now, this one has been on a long time. The clamp is not as corroded as the small hose above it, but it too is going to need a little coaxing with the screwdriver to finally slide it off of its port. Once this hose was off, a sharp upward tug now pulls the tank off the wheel well, and we can turn it over to take the sensor out. This just needs a push and a twist, and then it pulls straight out. Because the light on the dash means that this one still works fine, I'll just switch it over to the new tank. On the bottom of the tank is a sort of mushroom-shaped plastic button. This anchors the front of the tank to this rubber grommet on the top of the wheel well. I'm pushing the main hose on and snugging the clamp down now. Then I'm going to line the tank up on the 2 plastic mounting flanges on the top before pushing straight down to seat the button into the grommet on the top of the wheel well. The small diameter upper line is going to get a new clamp of a better design. This small overflow hose certainly goes on a lot more easily than it came off. These clamps are usually meant for high-pressure fuel injection lines because they apply an evenly distributed grip around the whole hose. Another nice thing about this style of clamp is that you can use either a flat-bladed screwdriver or a small socket to tighten the clamp down. it's time to replace the two 10mm nuts that hold the back of the tank. And don't forget to plug in the level sensor wire again. The antifreeze compatible with this 1990s era engine is bright green, but you don't want to use it at full strength. That would be much more expensive than necessary, and it would not give you any better cold weather protection. Dilute the coolant from full strength to 50% by filling a suitable gallon jug halfway with distilled water, and then slowly pour in the antifreeze to top it up. This combination should give protection down to minus 40 degrees. Shift the funnel over to the new tank and you can begin to top it up. Now it may take the entire gallon of coolant mixture and even some of a second batch. Inside the fill neck is a small vertical blade molded into the plastic. Now the tank is filled up to the top when the coolant level is up to the top of the blade. Don't forget to replace the cover on the top of the fender with the 10mm nut and the two Phillips head screws on the relay cover. Before I put the cap back on the tank, I ran the engine for about 2 minutes. This should chase out any air bubbles from the system. Shut it off, and then I added additional coolant as needed to bring the level up to the top of the fill indicator blade. And that was it. The rain had finally stopped, and the clearing skies and drying roads were inviting me to come out and drive again with the top down. Thank you for watching, and be sure to click on the links to these other interesting videos and subscribe.